Hi, I'm Mrs. Kidd. I'm an educator. I'm a kindergarten teacher and have been now for 30 years. I'm going to read today Max and Molly Learn Their Manners by Todd and Jackie Courtney. As I read through this story, I'm giving you, as parents, also educators, some tips, things that you can do with your student as you read stories to your student. Max Rhyme books are very nice because they have some good vocabulary words and also some rhyming words that you can focus on. Two very important pre-reader cursors that are important for our students to work on and have in their pockets before they become readers themselves. So the name of this one is Max and Molly Learn Their Manners. We talk about the cover of the book. We talk about the characters we see in the book. Perhaps if you've read other Max and Molly books, then you know this is Max and Molly. And you can also talk about the setting. Where do you think this story, where are they today? Are they in the house? Are they out of the house? Do you think they're happy about where they are? How do you know? All those type things. Max and Molly Learn Their Manners. Todd and Jackie Courtney. This is your title page, so you can talk about that page. You have words to know or pre-reading activities. So those are making sure that your student, all these words are going to be in the story. When you read a story and they have words that your student doesn't know, it's very, very important that you encourage your student to say, wait a minute, I don't know what that word you just said is. Such an important value to have is to be able to stop a teacher and a grown-up and ask what a word is before they let that go on. That's how they learn, asking questions. So encourage your students to ask questions. And it's okay to raise your hand and ask questions in the middle of a story at school. It's okay to ask a question in the story when you're reading one at bedtime. That's how you know that they want to know something or that they don't know something. As educators, we don't know their background and we don't know all the things that they may have been exposed to or not exposed to. But you as a parent, you know what they've been exposed to. You can connect these things to their life. So go through this page and see if they know what these words are. Use them in a sentence. Act them out. So many different things and ways that you can do this. Remind them. Make connections to something that you've done with them that this word would connect to. Even a simple word like napkin. It's a napkin. Where do we use napkins? Why do we have it? What's a napkin used for? All those type things you can ask. We talk about different kinds of napkins. Well, at grandma's house, she has cloth napkins. We just use paper napkins. So you can have those conversations with even the simplest of words. And some words that we find are simple, like napkin, maybe something your student doesn't know. And you may think, wow, I guess that's not something that we've talked about. So make sure you look at these words in any book that you get. Kind of flip through and see if there's a word or two in there. Or if you come to a word when you're reading, ask them, do you know what that word means? See if they can help figure it out with even the context clues as you read, figuring it out from that, or change it up and you make up some sentences with it in there. It's nice to meet you too, Stella. And you see Dad is saying, and hi, I'm Stella. It's nice to meet you too. You have a little meet and greet going on here with the talking bubbles. And the story starts like this. When you meet someone new or you haven't seen for a while, always shake their hands while giving them a smile. So that's introducing somebody new. And you can talk about that when they're going to school. They're going to be meeting new people. They may not shake their hands at school, but when you're, especially with adults, it's important to talk about those manners. When I address someone older, like a neighbor or a friend, I begin with Mr. and Mrs. and put their last name at the end. Friend, end. And you say, hi, Mrs. Giraffe. Hi, Mr. Giraffe. And then they're saying, hi, Max. Hi, Molly. So they're greeting each other with that proper Mrs. or Mr. and Mrs. If a burp comes out in an accidental way, accidental is one of our words on that page. It's best to say, excuse me, and then continue to play. Play, way. Can bounce those out by saying way, a, play, a. Both of them have the A at the end. And you can always do a wrong example. How about weigh, me? Weigh, a, me, e. Does that make a rhyme? No, it doesn't make a rhyme. So you have all sorts of things. Excuse me, and you see them playing, and you see happy faces because they're using manners. When we don't use manners, we get grumpy faces. You should always chew with your mouth being closed. Make sure you don't talk and breathe through your nose. So you can talk about the location, the setting of this. Looks like they're in a cafeteria. And you can talk about manners in the lunchroom. Look at how they're sitting with their legs under the table. They're sitting all through lunch. And if your student is just starting school, it's a very hard task to sit for 30 minutes at a table, even when they're all finished 15 minutes in. You want to make sure that they understand it's using good manners to stay seated until everyone is done at your table and it's time to go. When mommy's on the phone talking to a friend, it's not polite to interrupt her until she hangs up at the end. Please wait, Molly. You see, she's trying to interrupt little Molly is, but we also talk about how Molly's younger and she doesn't know to wait until the end. And so the older kids are maybe helping to teach her that. And that's just good phone etiquette that you can use even with your students. And you have friend, end. The most important words that should be in your head are please and thank you, and they should always be said. So you have those very kind words, and you can talk about different places you can use please and thank you, and you can use them in a wrong way and see if your student can tell that you're using it wrong. So you could say something like, can I have an apple? Thank you. No. Okay. Or you could say, please. Please what? What else are you going to say with that? So you can have all sorts of discussions with that. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. Blow your nose with a tissue, please. So you can talk about manners with just using tissues. When you come into the house and the food is ready to eat, be sure to wash your hands first before you take your seat. So you have eat, seat. Eat, 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 seat, eat, eat. So you have those words that are the same. And what are they doing before? Yes, they're washing their hands first. That's what first meant. You do that before you eat. And you can talk about why do you think we need to clean our hands? What's on our hands? Napkins on your lap and elbows off the table. Feet on the floor for everyone who is able. Now, you can use that word. You got table, able. But what does able mean? Who is not able to put their feet on the floor in this picture? Well, we can see Molly's feet do not reach the floor. That means she is not able to put her feet on the floor. Max's feet barely reach the bottom. And you can talk about how just his tiptoes look like they're touching the ground. So he's almost able, but not quite. Before I leave the table, I ask to be excused. It's a reminder of politeness, and politeness should always be used. Yes, Max says, may I please be excused? Such good manners. Yes, Max, but please clear your plate. So he's asked to take his plate over to the sink. Would you like to be excused, Molly? And Molly responds, yes, please. Now, being excused means they want to leave the table early. And at your home, that's perfectly acceptable to do that, unless you need to help in the kitchen. And I guess they could be called back to help be responsible in the kitchen to clean up. But at school, you can ask to be excused, but there's no place for you to go because you have to stay with your class and your teacher. So it's also a good comparison about how things are different at school than they are at your house. And again, at the end of the story, we have all of the characters, and you did see most all of these characters in the story today as they were out with their friends and introducing and meeting new people. So the close of the story has our QR codes on the back of the book that you can use to go to the Max Rhymes Foundation and look at all the neat things that they continue to add to the storybooks. And remember, all of these things that I've given you ideas with today are great, but only do 1 or 2 a day. A read. So if you want to do rhyming words one day, you want to talk about settings another day, you want to talk about all the parts of the book, the beginning, the middle, and the end, what happened to the story each time as they go. All great things to do. Predictions on what you think is going to happen, but only pick one topic each time you go through the storybook.